players here. So good evening and thank you all for coming out. I don't need a microphone, right? Y'all hear me loud and clear? All right. I am Councilwoman Carmalitha Gumbs, if many of you have not known, and I represent District 2 here in the city of South Fulton. I see some new faces, especially this newest subdivision that is in the district. They come out together as a group and I love it, so keep doing that. What we're going to talk about today are the projects that are happening, transportation projects. We have some special guests here, pretty much trying to give you all an update on what's happening in District 2 with transportation. I know there's a great concern about one intersection, which is Butner Road and Camp Creek, along with Campbellton and Camp Creek and a few other places. So we're going to get some updates on the progress of those projects. We have the subject matter experts that are here to kind of discuss what else we can do as a community and just kind of share where we are as a growing city. So I hope you all have packed your patience. Have great questions that we will answer for you tonight. I do want to make sure that we are orderly because we have to be out here by a certain time, and you know how we can get, right? So I want to take a moment and recognize just a few people. I want to recognize our mayor. Mayor Colby is here tonight. We also have some of our elected officials. We have Georgia Senator Kemp. Rashawn, you want to stand up so they can see you? He is also a District 2 representative. And then we also have Sebastian Barron from Governor Kemp's office here as well. So we have some key players. We have our city manager, Ms. Sharon Superdan, so you will hear from her in just a moment. She's making things happen for us. We have our deputy city manager. You want to stand up, Dr. Cooper. Our public affairs deputy director. You want to stand up? Yes, Ms. Wells. And then we have Mr. Valenzuela. We are all familiar with Mr. Valenzuela. He will also give us some information as well from Public Works. Mr. Denard, who will be the person from GDOT that will be speaking. And is there anybody that I missed? All right, so let's get this party started. Brandon will walk around. You have all the questions? Do you have all the questions? Have you all turned your questions in? We'll go through them and look and see if there are any duplicates, but we will try to get through these questions as well. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to the city manager so she can bring you some greetings and give you some updates, and then we'll go in progress with Public Works and then GDOT. Thank you. Give her a hand, y'all.
Mike. Good evening, everyone. How are you all?
Great. How are you?
Thank you for having us back in District 2. It's always a pleasure to be here. I am not going to take up a lot of your time this evening because I know you're here to get updates from the industry professionals on the transportation projects happening here in District 2 and around the city. I do want to anytime I have an opportunity, I like to remind residents that a lot of our transportation projects are paid for by TSPLOS, Transportation Special Local Option Sales Tax. That's a 3/4 of a penny that you and everyone else who shops or plays or visits our city pays, and we have been able to really put that funding to work. So many of you, Brandon, many of your projects are funded with TSPLOS dollars. You will also hear tonight that we share roads and responsibility here in the city of South Fulton, and GDOT will explain to you which roads in the city are GDOT's responsibility. But we work very closely together, we collaborate together, we meet monthly together, ultimately to deliver the transportation program for you, to make sure that it's safe for you to travel in the city of South Fulton. So thank you for having us all tonight, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to the next speaker, who Brandon will tell me who that is.
Mr. Valenzuela.
Okay. Welcome, Public Works Director Antonio Valenzuela.
Thank you, Ms. Rodan, and good evening, residents of District 2, Mayor Colby, and you all. It's my pleasure to be here to present to you updates on main projects that District 2 is having throughout the city. There you go. All right. Just to begin with, I know that most of you are very familiar with those two roundabouts that we just built for District 2. Some of the aesthetics for that we're committed to provide to the roundabouts. We're making sure that they are clean, have the proper flowers and so on. And so far, those roundabouts are working real well. We have increased lots of accidents and somehow lowered the speed on the roads. A few items also, when it comes to traffic count, we have provided some speed tables to some subdivisions. This is the one that the installation is scheduled to begin today. Right? Yes. Completed projects, as you know, we installed the inner road sidewalks. We completed by February 2025. We also completed the Cochrane Road Bridge over Deep Creek and the Butler Road at Union. In addition to that, we also completed just last week the Walden Park subdivision. All the roads were milled and overlaid. Under construction, we have another bridge that's scheduled for construction. This project has federal funds. It's an older bridge that's going to be demolished, and we're going to put a new bridge. And also, going to do some paving to the road approaches. So you will have a nicer roadway with sidewalks, curb and gutter, and a new bridge. One of the main projects that you always ask for to the city of South Fulton and on District 2, Butler Road over Camp Creek. It's a project that has two elements, the intersection plus the bridge replacement. The particular bridge has at this point 2 lanes. Hopefully in the winter of this year, we're going to widen the bridge to 4 lanes. So we're going to have a dedicated left turn going from Butler Road towards the city of Atlanta, a true lane, and a dedicated right turn. Coming from the opposite direction, we will follow the center line. So it is a project that takes us a minute. The reason of a few delays is it is the rights of acquisition, utility relocation that we must do. We have items about to be resolved with Georgia Power, as well as we are entering into an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Atlanta Watershed, where we're going to have to relocate 2 water mains, one of 24 inches and another one of 30 inches. The construction of this project is going to be done in 4 stages. We're not going to close completely. So we'll go to stage 1 to 4. We have obtained already the signal permit from Georgia DOT. We appreciate that, Paul. Soon we're going to request an encroachment permit that we are required to do, and a few minor items. So we expect that once we resolve 2 pending pieces of land that's required for the project, it is scheduled for rights of acquisition. We hope that we can resolve, or we go to the next step. Then after that, the project should be stamped, should be ready to go for advertisement for bid. Over my fashion note, this is a new project for you all. This is T+2, as Ms. Superintendent introduced to you, T+1 and T+2. This is a new project coming in. We're in the process of scheduling a public information open house. It will happen anytime. As soon as we secure the venue, we're going to be sending invitations for you to attend. But this is a preview. So this will be the first peanut roundabout that we're going to do for the city of South Fulton. Our intention is to impact the less that we can to all the residents and provide a safer intersection. Another project. You ask Union Road sidewalks. You might say, why is it taking too long? The first step for us, with all that we have learned, is to ensure that we can to do an assessment of the existing conditions on Union Road and to ensure that we have the proper limits of the project. That took us a minute, so the project now has been surveyed and we have a concept ready that we can share with the community. This project is also scheduled for an open house anytime. You will see soon the signs on the streets, and we hope that we can discuss on more detail those specifics of the project.
So these are the Westlake sidewalks that everybody has.
That's correct. So it's a lot of stuff right there. We just didn't want to go to the design and don't take into consideration the existing sidewalks. We have sidewalks at several locations, and we have lots of parcels that somehow somebody will have to be impacted because that's the nature of the construction. With that, I hope I shared the most important transportation projects for District 2, and I will hand over the mic to the next person.
Well, if not, we can bring it up.
Yeah, we have additional projects also in District 2. Those are just the most important projects that you wanted to see. Other projects are on the way, are under design. We have held open house meetings already, and a good number of projects are in final design. We're acquiring the rights of way acquisition as well. My number is listed right there, and my email as well. Anytime that you want to ask any questions, you want to know an update on a particular project or so, please do not hesitate to email me. That's the best way. So I will make sure to respond to you. We have several other projects like the Merck Road sidewalks, Union Road at Thames Road, intersection improvement. All Fairmont and Thaxton have discussed that one. Butner at Aldridge at Merck Road. We discussed Union Road, we discussed Butner and Camp Creek. And finally, we have one more project, the Union Road at Stone Hotel, that's under the rights of way acquisition. So on all those projects that I discussed, we have held public open house meetings before, and now are under preliminary design or final design. With that said, I'm open to questions, or are you?
We're going to wait till questions afterwards.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and bring up Mr. Denard, and he will introduce his team that is here as well. And from that, if you all have questions, make sure you have them. I'll take you through the questions.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Thank you all for having me here. My name is Paul Denard. I'm the district engineer for District 7, which covers 6 of the counties around Metro Atlanta. So GDOT is broken up into 7 districts statewide, and I will claim that we are in fact the busiest district. You know, you ask my counterparts, they probably won't say that, but you know, lot of work going on, lot of things going on, a lot of interstates and projects that we have happening here. So I wanted to give an update, and I appreciate the invite. I do want to highlight the fact and reiterate something that City Manager in Antonio pointed out, is that transportation is a team sport. And so there is ongoing partnership. We have monthly meetings with the city just to talk about issues, to talk about maintenance, to talk about construction projects, to talk about projects that are coming down the pipe, permits, so that we're keeping transportation and infrastructure needs moving for the city of South Fulton, as well as for GDOT District 7. So I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about things that are going on in and around District 2 from the department standpoint. And I do want to mention this piece of advice when it comes to the separations and what we cover, what GDOT is responsible for. Always think of it in these terms. GDOT covers the numbered routes. So if you think about all the roadways you know, if there's a number associated, it's us. So 285, 75, 85. State Route 6, Camp Creek Parkway. That's a state route. So some of the projects that we have under construction, this is Buffington Road. Buffington Road is around this area, but it is a partnership project that we have, in fact, with the city of South Fulton and some other local jurisdictions. It is a $37 million job. That project is going to be widening and is widening Buffington from 2 to 4 lanes from State Route 14 all the way down to Rock Quarry Road. So this is another project. My titles got messed up for some reason in there, but this project is the 285-85 ramp resurfacing projects. I don't know, about 6 months or so ago, if you rode on those ramps, you probably were dodging and driving around potholes, but we've been out there during this paving season redoing these ramps all in and around I-85 and 285 on the south side. So that project is going on now and is scheduled to be completed this fall. This is Camp Creek Parkway at Butner Road. I just wanted to bring this up as a topic of conversation, and I'm probably sure we're going to field a lot of questions here in a few minutes about it. But I wanted to mention, aside from all of the good work that we're doing with City of South Fulton and the project that you all are having coming up for this leg of the intersection, I want you all to notice one of the issues that we have occurring there, and I'm sure you drive and experience day to day, is that Butner Road is a unique intersection for us from a maintenance standpoint because it is the transition point from asphalt paving to concrete paving. And so one of the things that we usually are routinely out doing is making sure those joints and making sure that pavement in the corners of each of those intersections are taken care of. So we get a lot of customer complaints, concerns, but we do have our maintenance teams going out there and repairing the corners and any potholes or different things that we see. Please continue to be diligent. Dial 511 and you can report in any issues that you have with this intersection, and we send our maintenance crews to go out there and take care of the joints and the maintenance out here. And so we actually have a maintenance design project that we're working on to complement some of the upcoming construction work that they are designing to make sure that we fix more long-term the joint issues that we're having at this intersection. So projects that we have in design are our pre-construction phase. This project is State Route 70 at 154, so FIB at Campbellton Road. And so what we've been working on is a quick response project to extend the southbound right turn lane. We expect that to be kind of one of those low-cost, quick projects that we can implement fairly quickly within the right-of-way. And so we're expected to get that under construction throughout the winter months. It is currently under design at our district office. This project is at State Route 6, which is Camp Creek Parkway and Baker's Ferry Road. We're looking at various alternatives and operational improvements at this. We've gotten some concerns about Baker's Ferry at 70, where there's the R-cut that we have there, which is the reduced crossing U-turn intersection. We are looking at an R-cut or a signalized intersection at this location near the Camp Creek and the State Route 70 or Fulton Industrial Boulevard intersection. That project is expected to be about $2.5 million. We have not put a schedule on that project because we are currently in the TE, what I call a traffic engineering study phase, where we're determining what the solution will be at that intersection. But we're conceptualizing it, and that is on the radar for operational improvements. My title.
Is that near the quick trip?
Yes. Just drove through that on the way here. And then lastly, this is a project that we are in partnership. It's a local-led project. This is the Fulton Industrial Boulevard at Cascade Road intersection. This project is scheduled for spring of 2026 letting. and is estimated as a $4.5 million investment. So that's all I have for now.
Okay. All right, well, y'all ready to get on the hot seat? All right.
Oh, I forgot to introduce my staff this year. So we have our district traffic engineer, Megan Wilson. And we have one of our traffic engineers who covers in your area, Haley Hyatt. They're on the front line for our operations and safety and permitting. So if I defer to them in the back, if y'all throw a curveball at me, they'll be here to provide us support.
And they got to experience what we experience in traffic at 5 o'clock. So,
That's right.
all right, y'all want to have a seat, or City Man, you want to get up here with them too? No? Okay. All right, so of course, everybody is concerned about Butner and Camp Creek, but we're going to go just a little bit differently for right now, and then we're going to get to the other questions. So, someone says they would like an update on the plan, I guess, Stonewall Jones, Derrick Pittman Road roundabout. And are there plans to widen Derrick Road to reduce traffic at Wolf Creek Elementary?
With regards to Stonewall at Jones Road, Pittman Road, the project is in final design. We are finalizing the rights-of-way acquisition. We actually met with one of the residents, and we have settled one of the main parcels that we needed for the project. As I stated, it's in final design. It's going to be a roundabout, much-needed project that you will like it in the near future.
Anything you want to add, Paul? Okay. Why construct a roundabout at low traffic intersections, i.e. Butner and Union Road? What was the reasoning behind Butner and Union Road and creating roundabouts at low traffic intersections?
Apparently, it's a low traffic intersection, but we also look into just not the traffic volume. We look at safety. We have our engineers that look at all the aspects of the intersecting roadways. This particular road has a severe angle coming from Union Road into Button Road. There are several accidents that occurred, and the most feasible project that was proposed for the intersection, and when we went into public open house meetings, it was the preferred alternative, and to date it's almost considered as a winning award candidate project for the area.
I do want to comment on that. So I want to mention that, roundabouts are great. And I don't know how many people are believers in roundabouts. How many people are favorable?
They don't like
roundabouts? Favorable people? Okay. I was going to say there's challenges, there's websites, and matter of fact, we actually had National Roundabout Week last week. So yes, roundabouts are a big deal, not only in Georgia, but also across the nation. The biggest single reason why roundabouts are so important and, so popular is because of the reduction in crashes. We have 3 roundabouts that are actually scheduled to be put on State Route 92 at Jones, Dinwiddie, and then Butner Road off of 92. And one of the reasons why I'm highlighting that corridor is because when I first started as district traffic engineer, there was a fatal car incident with some teens at the intersection of State Route 92 and Butner Road, and it was just after we installed a traffic signal. And even though you may say, let's get a signal out there, it'll increase the safety, it'll help, regulate the turns, etc. The kids cruise right through, or it was either the kids or the tractor trailer that cruise right through that red line and got hit in T-bone. Roundabouts eliminate the possibility of that from ever happening. And so it's an 80% reduction of crashes, fatal and injury crashes when you install a roundabout. So at high volume locations or even low volume locations, you're still seeing those benefits.
Yeah. And I believe, at Butner and Union Road, I know we have one of the residents here, I don't see him. But there were a lot of crashes daily at that intersection, very fatal accidents as well. So it was definitely needed. So that's the reason for that. This question might be directed to city manager. There are about 20 to 30 trucks daily dumping dirt on Camp Creek and Butner. It is a lot of dirt in the area, former horse farm. What can code enforcement do? So I think it's up to you who wants to answer that, but I rode through there the other day and it was like a mud pile. It's really frustrating when you get in your car washed. But you want to answer that question? Or I think he's been familiar with it too.
Who has to drive past it every day, so I hear about it too. So, in reality, there are personal property rights, and while some of this is frustrating, code enforcement has cited some of the activities. The reality is we cannot prohibit somebody from doing work on their own property, depending on what it is. And so I have been working with the councilwoman, trying to work with the property owner, and it has been a challenge. And I think that's as much as I can say. But I will be forthcoming and say one of the delays. So Antonio just sort of skipped over it really quickly, but for almost every project that we do in the right-of-way, which you know what the right-of-way is, it's the piece that's owned by the city essentially, we have to acquire land from property owners in order to do a sidewalk, a roundabout, a bridge, and it's a process. We can't just go up to people and say, we're just going to take your land. We have to offer them a fair market value for their land. They have to accept it. If they don't accept it, we try to negotiate. If we're unable to be successful, we have to go to eminent domain, which is a court-ordered process that is very lengthy. And so a lot of times the delay on projects, we try to make these things work in tandem. As soon as we have a design, we start the process of acquiring property. I don't know if the homeowners in this room, but we had a homeowner in District 2 that donated their land for the Road sidewalk project. But that's extraordinarily rare. Most of the time, we're going through a lengthy negotiation process, sometimes ending in imminent. One of the challenges with Butner and Camp Creek is we're at a stalemate that we're having to go through the eminent domain process to acquire last two parcels of land. We had a project in another part of the city. We had to acquire 103 parcels of land for the project. So unfortunately, it delays the projects. It is part of what we have to do. We have to do it under the law. We have to do it fairly. But going back to the original question, we're aware that it's a problem. We're doing everything we can under the law to address the problem, and we see it every day. And so we recognize that it is challenging and problematic for the community as well. So we're not ignoring it.
All right, so kind of answered that question. The majority of the land in South Fulton is zoned agriculture. Okay, so I want you all to know that. Because I got phone calls about the horse farm, why you can't do this and why you can't do that. And I believe there's a horse farm right there at Butner Union. I got phone calls about that. Y'all seen that. But that is because they have rights as owners of agricultural land. Okay? As much as I would want to move horses and put them in their proper places off of Camp Creek Parkway because they got out last week. Riding around Camp Creek Parkway. We want to make sure that everybody's safe. So we got to pack our patience. Again, we live in a city that is majority agriculture. All right. So the next question that I have is, now that sidewalks are complete on Eden Road, when will the road be paved? I think that's you. Mr. Valenzuela.
Yes, the city has identified the major corridors with high volume traffic, and Eden Road is one of them. So we're projecting that milling and overlay should start on the spring of 2026. And upon ensuring that our contractor was, and with a permitting, we hope that we can complete about over 15 miles that we promised to do for 2026.
You want to talk about the lighting as well before I move on Eden Road? The decorative lighting, or how the lighting is coming to sidewalks programs?
On the sidewalks that we have on Eden Road, we're looking into securing additional lighting for the sidewalks. I don't have yet the final numbers from our company and how we will proceed, but our city manager has given us the go, and we are on that path to secure. And as soon as we have a program in place, a proposal in place, it will be presented, and we'll definitely follow up with additional lighting installation. Those additional lighting installations, shorter lights, decorative lights that will be installed, and I will forecast it to be done in 2026.
Now, you all may have touched on some of this. We talked about the status of Fulton Road, but there are concerns about heavy traffic impacted by crossing the bridge. Is the bridge regularly inspected? And then any improvements such as lights with arrows and lane widening? I think you kind of touched on a little bit of that, but if you could just highlight those things. I've just provided 2 questions.
In general, Georgia DOT inspects all bridges in a 2-year cycle. The city has completed all the repairs to all our bridges. We have 2 pending bridges that goes over the C6. One is on Mallory Road and the other one on Cascade Road. So we cannot do any repairs when the bridge is over the C6. We got to request permits. We got to pay for flaggers, inspections, and others. But the rest of the bridges, the city is up to date with the repairs with Georgia DOT.
All right, logistics-wise, what will be the detours during construction? Have you all thought about that, and how will you be working with GDOT? How does that work, logistics for detours for Fulton and Camp Creek?
Since this project will be actually on a city road, it's going to be built in 4 stages. So we're not going to close completely the roadway with the one part, then switch it to the next part, and then we start phase 2. So we'll close temporarily certain lanes. So I will have the proper detours as well, and ensure that Waze and Google Maps is already updated as well.
Oh, you will be updating Google Maps?
Yes, that's what we do when we do it.
Awesome, awesome. Who is responsible for the quality control of final surfacing off, I think it says off ramp of South Fulton Parkway off 285? It's fairly new and uneven, so that if it's anything related to numbers, remember you said that's you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's us. And that's the 285 ramps, and I hope I'm getting this right, 285 to South Fulton. Those are one of the ramps that in the project that I mentioned earlier. So typically when we do those ramp resurfacings, we do the middle layer or the middle asphalt layer, and then do the final top coating layer in a different grade of asphalt. So depending on when you receive that question or what the construction staging you may have either driven over the middle layer we're still waiting on that final topping layer. And then the other thing that we do as a part of our resurfacing projects is we have asphalt smoothness testing. And so the contractor is required in accordance to their contract and the contract specifications to meet a specific smoothness when we do, when we inspect their final product. So that is something that we will look at in our bridge down 285 to South Fulton Parkway.
All right. So going back to widening Derrick Road from Jones Road to South Fulton Parkway, we didn't answer that question.
Yes, in fact, I didn't answer the question, but I knew the question was asked. But Derrick Road is not yet looked at to be widened. It's a low traffic volume at this point. But there are two sections. One, we got the section, I believe, that goes through Union City, but our section is not looked at to be widened.
Okay, I think the mic has died. So there are three questions I think is kind of in conjunction. What are the plans to repave FIB? What are the plans to improve traffic at Sandtown and Campbellton Road, Sandtown Center and Campbellton Road, so Camp Creek and Campbellton Road? And can we get the lights in sync from Campbellton Road at FIB and the light in front of the Amazon? So who wants to go first?
Actually, we're working with GDOT. Those projects have on the state routes, Camp Creek and FIB.
That was a lot of questions.
Okay, all right.
I'll take the first one. Let's talk about resurfacing Fulton Industrial. So I can't tell you how much your city staff is advocating for Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Every time we meet, so when are y'all gonna fill those spots? So plus it's right, City Hall is right here.
That's
so,
right.
But yeah, so what we're doing now is we are spot treating those specific corridors. We recently resurfaced Fulton Industrial Boulevard pretty much all the way down to 20. And so we're going to be placing the part from 20 all the way down to, I believe it's Campbellton, in our fiscal year 27 resurfacing plan. And so that's going to come, I guess this is fiscal year 26 that we're in now. So next fiscal year, we have a plan to put that in, that resurfacing in. While we're waiting in the meantime, we will do those spot treatments and even do some spot patching for those areas where, you know, we have a lot of truck traffic and so forth in that respect. So that is the resurfacing plan for Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Aside from those projects that I mentioned that City of South Fulton is engaging in at Cascade, and then we're going to have that smaller project there at the Campbellton Road intersection. What was the next one? I'm so sorry.
So the next question is Sandtown Center. So Camp Creek and Campbellton Road. I know that there was some project, I guess some extension of the turn lanes and all that good jazz. But I think you all are working on something, so we need an update on that.
Yeah, so that project is still in the concept phase. I do recall last time we had this event, it was still in the concept phase. So we are also in the traffic engineering of that phase. There are a few developments, and I'm sure y'all are noticing some of the development that's in that region or in that area that have come over there. So the latest concept actually widens the westbound direction of Campbellton Road to 2 lanes to have 2 lanes of through traffic cross over the intersection and then terminate near Riverside Drive. And so that is the concept. It is in early design phase. We don't have a schedule on that just yet, but it's in progress.
So relief is coming. I think the next question was, how do we get the lights in sync on Campbellton at FIB and the light in front of the Amazon? I don't know if you all came through today. The traffic is extremely backed up during rush hour. So what can we up so people can get through the intersection faster.
Right, so signal timing, anything signal related, in terms of green lights, the length of the lights, the signal timing, coordination between the lights, that is a partnership with us, obviously here, and then the local jurisdiction, so South Fulton. But we have a group called SIGOPS at the state, and the SIGOPS group, it's a group of active corridor managers that we can use technology to remotely adapt and change the signal timing for our signals. We just are, and we're actually responsive. So this is something that we have contracted out to monitor frequently. So if you're experiencing those issues, if you see cues and delays that are beyond what you would normally see, 511. Remember that number, 511. If you call 511, it will link you to the traffic management center at GDOT and say, hey, we're getting some short phases here at Hamilton Road, and those, or in front of the Amazon facility, and they will be able to go into the system and look up the signal timing remotely. And so we're responsive to calls to 511, and we're responsive to local government requests as well as our maintenance forces who are out.
All right, so 511, we all send in the traffic, okay? All right. These questions are for Mr. Denard. I think it's SRM South Fulton Parkway, extended turn lane for right turn onto Stonewall Tell Road, and there are illegal left turns into the area that has been previously blocked. Are you familiar with this? And what are you all doing to improve that intersection?
So the latest plans that we have for South Fulton Parkway, Stonewall Tell is addressing. We have, you have some of those warehouses where you've got a lot of trucks that are turning. When they turn, they rut out the outside corners of the intersection. So what we're planning on doing is putting some asphalt out there to widen the radiuses of those turns so that you can have less of issues with, mud trucks tracking over, those corners and so forth. So that's the current improvements that we're doing. Again, we're actively, if there's an issue of congestion, we do, all of our signals around the district, the region, are linked into our SIGOPS program. And so for timing, if there are timing issues, if there's a request for a protected base, I think I heard a request for the arrow, we actually have to do a traffic engineering investigation for that. According to our state and federal guidances, we can't just throw up the green arrow. There has to be a certain amount of left turns that you have that are turning at that intersection before we can put a protected green. So that's something that we can do our traffic counts and investigate in terms of the arrow. But as far as improvements, that's what we're looking to do at the Stonewall Tell intersection.
Okay. There are a lot of accidents merging onto Camp Creek from Campbellton Road and Butner. Is it possible to create a merging lane onto Camp Creek to reduce the number of accidents? It's kind of a mix of both.
So I'll tee it up for you. I'll go first. So I'm guessing the question is, and I'm guessing this is to put in like an acceleration lane to kind of help people merge in. So where I'm from, I'm actually originally from Maryland. I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. And so acceleration lanes were everywhere. When I moved down here to Georgia, acceleration lanes were nowhere. And I asked why. And so one of the reasons why we like to not put in the acceleration lanes is because when you have an acceleration lane, you're moving a point down here where a car can, when you pull up and make a right turn, at the intersection or closer to the intersection, you're only turning at a 90 degree in order to look for oncoming traffic if you're stopping to yield for oncoming traffic. When you put an acceleration lane there, you've already made your turn. You're facing this way towards where you're headed, but in order to look at merging traffic or traffic you've got to merge in, you've got to turn your head completely around. So from a safety standpoint, it's better when you're actually, from a sight distance standpoint of oncoming traffic, you're looking towards your left at a 90-degree versus having to look behind you when you're in acceleration lane. And so we're actually retrofitting when we have different intersections around the district, around the state. We want to put in those clearly defined merge points instead of using the acceleration lanes. Now, make no mistake, accelerations are also in the guidance, and in some places you need them where you have a longer distance to run them out. But in these cases, by those intersections, we don't have the property to do something like that. So that's why you see a lot of those merge points there.
And Paul's is correct. When it comes to Butler Road, right now you have a small right turn lane from the bridge into Concrete Park. So that's not really a right turn. It was done something back in, 30 years ago or so on. And then you don't have a dedicated left turn lane or a true lane. So vehicles are jumping back and forth, and that's the main reason of the delays and so on. So with a new project, you will have an extended right turn lane, an extended left turn lane going towards, one going towards Douglasville, and the other one going towards 285. So coming up on the other direction, we're going to realign the center line to match the new geometry that we're going to create. And when I stated that we just got approved the signal permit, because that signal is going to be modified. So we're going to provide proper green lights, left timing for vehicles moving left or right. So with that, we should definitely see a lot of improvement at that intersection.
Okay. All right, so as you know, people drive way too fast in South Fulton. There have been numerous crashes at the intersection of Cascade Palmetto and Campbellton Road at the BP. And I think in one of your projects you discussed that. Are there any plans again to do anything at that intersection? So I guess maybe a rehash of what you have planned at that intersection here, the Fulton Industrial area? Cascade Palmetto and Campbellton at the BP.
So the only plans that we have at Fulton Industrial and this is Campbellton is basically we're going to do a quick fix project. We recently did a project there to extend the left turn lanes northbound and southbound. So we were able to add that capacity for folks. Now they probably filled the capacity already. So what we're doing now is we are going to extend the capacity of the southbound right turn lane for that turn that's coming from the north and going back towards points west. So that is going to be something that we're currently under design for that project, and that should, hopefully construction will begin winter into the spring.
Are there any plans about widening Cascade Palmetto to a 4-lane? What about Campbellton Road widening? Can't read this thing right. Similar to Douglas County, no timeline. Are there any plans for widening from Cascade Palmetto to a 4-lane? And what about Campbellton Road?
Yes, on Cascade Palmetto, you know, it goes from 4 lanes to 2 lanes. Right? Once you get to Campbellton Road, it goes to 2 lanes. Eventually, the road is congested, saturated, and so on. And yes, it should, in the near future, it should be 4 lanes. When it comes to Campbellton Road, it's the same scenario. You go from 4 lanes to 2 lanes. We have been working with Georgia DOT trying to secure some funding and working with them and do feasibility studies to see what will be the result and go from there.
All right, so while we're still on Cascade Palmetto Highway at the intersection near Walden Park, cars are speeding the curb and the residents of Twin Shoals subdivision take chances trying to enter onto West Stubbs towards Cascade Palmetto. Are there any plans to improve that intersection?
On Cascade Palmetto,
near, I know that was the first traffic light we installed in the city of
Oh,
South
okay.
Fulton.
Yes, Cascade Momentum was, actually the first T-Splash project that was built for the city of South Fulton.
And they're saying that they're taking chances near Walden Park, trying to come out near that intersection.
Right, the following intersection, not intersection, but once you cross that signal, the next road becomes one of the exits from Walden Park subdivision. So at this point, we don't have a signal at that location. It's very close to each other, but we will look into it and see what we can do.
All right, so the author of.
Just to clarify, so Twin Shoals is a brand new subdivision. There's a curve that comes past Walden Park, Amherst, into Cascade Palmetto, and that curve is is a huge chance for us. So cars are blazing through that way. If they're coming this way, it's fine, we can see it. If we're turning right, we can see it. But coming around that bend is absolutely dangerous,
Right, see, because
especially at night and if it's raining.
you stand correct, but the Cascade
on
Palmetto,
the other side of the street.
right, has some vertical issues. The road goes up and down, so it prohibits the side distance of that.
But
But we will take it to.
yeah, the builder who built that new subdivision has another entrance on Cascade Palmetto, but it's locked.
It's a service entrance.
Right, so they chose not to use that one, I guess, right?
Right.
Who made that decision? The city? To build it?
Not me.
So we will have to look at that, but we do site studies to see what the distance, so get with me afterwards and I'll make sure that that's something.
And there's also a school bus pickup and drop off right there.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, see me after.
Because the streets are too narrow for the school bus to build.
Uh-oh, Mr. Berman. All right, we almost on track, So we're gonna give you all just a quick break so y'all can get some water. I think this message is for city manager. Who or what department is funding all of these projects? Is this allocated fund for the year or several years? And are the citizens of South Fulton funding any of these projects with a property tax base? Have fun with that. You want to see the question?
Multi-part question. Earlier we talked about T-Splosh, that's 75.75 of a penny, and everybody pays that as long as you pay sales tax. I like T-Splosh especially because we're told over 50% comes from people who do not live in the city, but they use our roads. So T-Splosh is one big source of funding. And it has, over the years, it has grown. So that's been helpful to us. But of course, the cost of projects have also grown. So we just try to keep up with it. There is some ad valorem, or what we call general fund dollars that goes towards transportation. Some of that is what we call lost, LOST. We didn't lose the money, but it's local option sales tax, which is a percentage of all sales tax collected. All of Fulton County collects that, and we share it as jurisdictions in the city. So sales taxes are preferred funding source. Property taxes are least preferred. It's also used generally to fund a lot of public safety. So those are probably our two major funding sources for our transportation projects. Perfect. Thank you. All right, the next question is, could the CID for Fulton Industrial help cover the cost of some of the improvements and safety installations like resurfacing, etc.? So, great question. We actually are partnering with the CID, that local project as a corner of Cascade and FID, that is, got the local match on that project is coming from the CID. So we work closely with the CID on projects, and in fact, we're partnering with them. In our current year budget, we put aside, I think, almost $700,000 for improvements in the CID to support the money that they're putting in. So we work closely with them as well. and you'll see some improvement, more improvements coming to Fulton Industrial, to the partnership between us and the CID.
I know the question, the answer to this question, but I want more of the comments. You go ahead.
I did want to mention something about the partnerships with the CID. And it's a question that I get often at town hall meetings is, well, why on the north side of town do we have these elaborate interchanges and with these beautiful decorations and all these things, and then I drive down on the south side or wherever, and I don't see that, And so I do want to mention that, CID is Community Improvement District. And so the reason why we have those is because of CIDs. Most of those interchanges with the elaborate trees and decorations and landscape and all those things are permitted by GDOT at the CID's request to come in and essentially upgrade our GDOT's minimum maintenance standard to something more beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. So that's one of the things one of the high points in our relationship with our CIDs around the district is that they do come in and take over and add features and do different things to the interchanges and beautify the area on the state right-of-way at the interchanges.
Yeah. Camp Creek is starting to look nice. And then I think 285, you all doing some work on that, 520. It needs a little bit more, but it's coming along. One of the questions that I have based off of the amount of people, and I think there are people that are campaigning on this, with the amount of accidents that are happening at Butner and Camp Creek, they're saying, well, why don't you have police officers there? So, if you go to Sandy Springs or some of them busy intersections, they have police officers at their intersections. But do you all have any answer? I don't think this is what I would like you all or city manager to say why we don't have either city police or state police at that intersection during rush hour traffic.
Well, we as Public Works at the city of South Fulton, we work together with all departments. And PD are one of our main support that we have. So they are patrolling our roads. It's just that Sandy Springs is dense, but the city of South Fulton is way open, wide open all over. And we do appreciate all that they do.
And from the state perspective, GDOT, I guess since we're, even though we're one state of Georgia, I guess, we're a little bit more siloed. GDOT is not an enforcement agency, and so we don't have any jurisdiction over enforcement of the roadways. We heavily rely on the local jurisdictions as well as, and then GSP. Yes, I'll speak fast. So GSP is the regulating agency, so that's a question that would have to be addressed to the GSP, but typically it is associated with manpower issues. A lot of their resources go to covering the interstate.
Public safety.
I think you answered that manpower, but city manager.
So I had to look it up, but Sandy Springs is 38.52 square miles. The city of South Fulton is 97 square miles plus. So we are 3 times as large. They have a $1 billion budget. We have a $400 million budget, and it's increased this year because of the bond for the new building. So on a normal basis, we would have a $300 million budget. So their budget is 3 times ours. So not to make excuses, but our police department does a phenomenal job. Wave in the back.
Give our police department a hand, y'all. All right.
And so we spread
So 2 more questions.
Quick question. In regards to Sandy Spring officers, those officers are not typically there to control the traffic, they're there to keep the box from being blocked. Because of the congestion, they're not there to direct traffic. They're there to make sure the intersection stays clear so that it becomes gridlock. The signal is still continuing to do the work. The officer's just there to make sure that everybody can continue to proceed.
That's great information. Okay. All right. I'm gonna start again. How are you determining which area gets sidewalks first? For instance, why isn't the lights and sidewalks a priority around Wolf Creek Amphitheater where we have pedestrian foot traffic? That's a good question.
That's a good question, but, you know, the city has a policy. It's a complete street design, which mandates for us that if we're going to look at an intersection or sidewalks where there were no sidewalks before, so we must provide the modes of transportation of all kind of modes. Then if we install sidewalks, then we must put pedestrian lights. We must put the street lights. In the past, I've been here for almost 25 years. Believe me, I remember many, some of you opposed to sidewalks. Now you want sidewalks. Many of you didn't want street lights. Now we want street lights. So we're here to provide those services.
All right. So the whole goal of this meeting, again, was to give the community updates on what's happening with the projects. One of the biggest things is that we really need you all to slow down and look out for one another. We were in DC just last week, just trying to lobby for additional dollars to help us, make our streets safer for our residents here and people that travel through our roadways. So please understand that we are not just sitting idle and just trying to, let things happen. We are a growing city and we see the issues at hand. The last question that I think that we want to address is talking about lighting up the city. That has been one of the biggest initiatives that we talked about from the very beginning of us starting the city. Can you give us a status, because we have some areas of the city like Cascade Palmetto, it's getting really dark, we have a lot of trees. What are we doing to light up the city of South Fulton? And some parts don't want to be lit up, I do have to say that, but we need lights.
That's right. Just for the records, just years ago, we had about, after inventory on the lights at the city of South Fulton, we had about 9,000 lights. Now we have over 12,000 lights. So we have made some improvements. And our goal is, thanks to our city manager, we've been directed to work on the state routes to provide more lighting to our street lights. So we're working with our power companies as well as GDEC to ensure that we get the proper encroachment permits where it's needed, so we can install some street lights for those state routes. Like we're working on FIB, we're working on Concrete Parkway. We have installed in some areas where the structure is already in place. In some areas we don't have it, so it's not just to come up and install a light and so on. But we're working to light it better to see the sound.
Want to add something?
I do. So I don't want to insult anybody, but just to let you know how streetlights work. So even though it's on a state route, like FID or Camp Creek, we have to pay for it. Richmond, you can fix that for us. Can you fix that for us so they pay for it? But the way it works is we contract with the utility company. So you know that Greystone services a large percentage of our community as well as Georgia Power. And we essentially, they'll put the light in with an agreement for us, and then we get an encroachment agreement if it's on a state route, and then we pay monthly for that street light in perpetuity, as long as they have it. Now, if the light goes out, they got to come out and fix it. And so what we are trying to do is look where we have existing infrastructure. So, the power infrastructure is already there, the pool's already there. We're trying to work on those first because we consider that to be low-hanging fruit. But we have now gone up to $3.5 million a year. $3.5 million a year for streetlight utility payments to our utility companies. And our goal is to light up the city. And so you'll see the main thoroughfares first. Where there is infrastructure already, we're looking at that. We're also looking at solar and looking at opportunities and grants to see where we can incorporate solar, which would not be an ongoing cost, right? We would pay the upfront cost and then the sunshine would do the rest. And so we are looking at all aspects. At places where we don't have any infrastructure, solar is a real opportunity for us. We just have to figure out how to pay for it.
Awesome, awesome. So, aren't you excited about the city? About stuff? So we have no good, what time is it? We have one, yes.
Just real quick.
15 minutes.
Sorry, I didn't do it.
I can't hear you.
Former meeting, and the question that's about Cascade Palmetto, lighting of Cascade Palmetto.
Yes.
It was mentioned that GDOT is responsible for that. Now, you're coming back and saying that the city of South Fulton is responsible. So I'm just, as a resident, because it's very dark, once you cross Campbellton Road, it's extremely dark. People have on high beams, you can't see, they're flying past at night. So who's responsible for the light? Is it the city of South Fulton, or is it GDOT, or is it a partnership? What did it say last time?
It's a
was
partnership.
on the state. And so now, I mean, that's a little confusing. I understand who's responsible for that.
Yeah, so sorry if we misspoke. The responsibility to put the lights up, if it's a state road, we're going to have to get permission from, it's called an encroachment agreement from GDOT. But ultimately, streetlights in the city of South Fulton that you see, your taxpayers are paying, your tax dollars are paying for it. Does that make sense? Whether it's a state road or a city street. And of course, in subdivisions, when a subdivision is built, every subdivision has to have streetlights, and that's part of the responsibility of the developer.
All right.
Can I just add something real quick though? That is a part of the city. Councilman Gumbs mentioned it, but that is a part of the city headed towards Chattahoochee Hills. A lot of those farmers do not want streetlights. You know, they want to keep it dark because they have animals. They have a night sky ordinance right next door in Chattahoochee Hills. So that's a conversation we have to have as a city.
I did tell you, some parts, they don't want to be lit up. Hi, Mr. Brandon.
I am here. I'm the guy on Butler Road.
You're not the home horse farm on Budget Road. Okay.
But when everybody has one, everything I want to say. If you look at Chastain Park in Buckhead, they made it work. They paid more tax dollars than anybody in South Fulton. Got big and better houses. You could literally walk out of somebody's house that's over $1 million across the street, and you get a horse arena. And walk over here, get a pool. You can walk over here, get a tennis court. And it's the people that make that town make it work. The people that's on the board. And people that work. South Fulton has nothing as a community engagement. None. I'm trying to create something. Hi. See, it's South Fulton having a problem building stuff, and they got the federal money sitting. Project's still not moving fast. So if they have a long time moving with budgets, expect a person like you to have a hard time doing it with one hand. All I'm saying is that we in this town together, because it has to be just for subdivisions. Before it was subdivisions, everything was AG1. Then the developers came in, took the AG1 land for cheap, and now say, hey, give the key, ready to move in. Why do I have to adjust? Well, people that want farmland that came to South Fulton for that, because outside investors are coming in, breaking people off. All I'm saying is, Buckhead, they making it work. Because the people on the board understand the value of having that. A little dirty in your car before you had this up. There's a lot of.
I mean, have a lot of them in my car.
I'm just saying, but before they build anything that's being built, that's what
So, Mr. Fulton, yes, this is your neighbor, so he will be here. I would love for you all to talk with him. Mr. Fulton and I, we try to work very well together, but I'm glad that he did show up.
And every horse that get loose on Butler Road, you
It's
know,
not
it's three of us there, right?
Okay, it's not
Every
all.
horse is not me.
All right. But I just want you to know he is here. Please make sure you reach out to him and talk to him because he's been asking to reach out and talk to you all. What? We gotta get out of here. One last question. Yes, ma'am.
My pet peeve, I'm gonna tell you, I'm the one who wrote, why do we need a roundabout? I was listening to you. Let me tell you, I go through one at Butler and Union. Those people don't stop. They just keep coming one behind like it's just a red light. And you gotta sit and wait till the last one. Why is that?
Well, again, at that particular intersection, the roundabouts are supposed to keep traffic moving. At that particular intersection, that's the intersection where one of the residents gave up their land. There were crashes at that intersection all the time. And that was the safest way and most cost-effective way to put a roundabout there. But I will send out the YouTube video for the tutorial. You all have to keep moving in that roundabout. Don't go fast, but just keep moving in that roundabout. It takes some adjustment. I know, I hate it too. It takes some adjustment. But I will make sure that I send out the tutorial for the YouTube for how to travel through roundabouts. I will also make sure that these gentlemen, their presentations will be sent out in the newsletter as well. I want to thank you all for being here tonight.